Hello, good afternoon. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. How are you? How is your Sunday going so far? Come on in, everybody. Come on in. If you're there live, come and say hello. It is hard today, isn't it just? We have got a wonderful guest for you today. So it's our fifth installment of Breathwork Stories. And here they come now. We have the wonderful Melike joining us. So come on in. I'm just gonna. Here we go. There you are.
Hi.
I always say that. I'm like, there you are. Like it's a really big surprise, but I'm always grateful that the internet's working properly.
Me too, me too. I am technologically challenged, so every time I manage to have a live, I'm like, yeah, this is good. I'm
Yeah,
getting
we,
there.
we, we've got this, Malika. We've got this. How are you doing, lovely?
Very good, very good. It's been a very hot day, but I've been out a little bit today, so but I am good. I'm feeling good. Yeah, it's so good to be
Yeah,
here.
I know. I'm so grateful to you for
Oh
giving us
no,
your time. I'm like,
no, it is always great to chat, and I love the stories, and I think, I am passionate about sharing stories as well, and I think it is wonderful what you're doing. So thank you very much for inviting me.
oh, I love that. Love that, love that, love that. Thank you so much. Well, I would love to introduce you. So, welcome in and welcome in, everybody. If you're there live, give us a hi, hello, a wave. Well, happy to have you here. So, this Breathwork series is about sharing individuals' journey with breathwork. So, we've got the wonderful Malike here with us today. Now, Malike is a certified mindfulness teacher, a certified breathwork coach, and also a qualified nurse.
Yes.
Yeah, like that's such an interesting combination. You're so skilled, and your background is actually, you said you've worked in the corporate world for 15 years as well
Yeah,
before
yeah. I'm a
transitioning
chartered
out.
accountant too. So I'm a chartered accountant, and I worked as a finance director for 15 years.
Amazing. And so I was going to say how you transitioned into breathwork, but this is your story. I would love to
Yeah,
hand that over to you to share your story, your journey with breathwork, and
yeah,
from being in that finance director role to
yeah.
transitioning to where you are today, working with breath and mindfulness and impacting so many people. So
Oh,
we
thank
actually
you.
met. I just have to say as well, we met during my breathwork training. You were facilitating at one of my trainings, and I was like, you have this beautiful energy. I connected with you straight
Oh,
away. You were so skilled at what you were doing, and
thank
you've just been
you.
going on from there. It's been wonderful to connect with
Oh,
you. So
thank
I'm so, so
you.
grateful that you could be on here and share your story. So
Oh,
I will
thank you.
hand over to you, Maliki. Thank you so much.
So thank you very much for having me, and thank you very much for the gracious introduction. I think, for people who trained in breathworks, I think we just breathing, conscious breathing. I think we just find it either out of necessity or because where we are in our lives almost demand from us an action that we need to take to feel
Mhm.
better. So I think mine came out of necessity. But initially, I trained as a nurse. I worked as a nurse, and I just thought, finance. I think I will earn a little more money, and I just moved to finance. And then I worked 15 years, and I loved every moment of it. I'm a type A, very kind of a
Yeah.
fast-moving brain, so I really just really I loved, enjoyed it. But during those 15 years, the stress that I couldn't manage really showed itself up in very, very fundamental ways. I lived with insomnia for well over a decade. And I lived with
Wow.
panic attacks, brain fog, and the more I didn't know how to manage my stress, it really get to a point where I burnt out. One morning when I wake up, just the thought of going to office, I start to lose my ability to move, ability to talk. I My burnout left me temporarily paralyzed.
That's incredible.
So
That's so scary, Maliki, to
it is,
get
it
to
is,
that point.
it
Yeah.
is, and I always tell even for a trained medical professional,
Mm.
it is really amazing. So many people are writing about burnout, what it is, how does it work. The severity is not very discussed about. I think mine is one of the most severe cases that you can find. But also it really goes to show that what we all say, oh, I am burning out, something is not right. But I think we need to really a little bit more aware of what we are really noticing ourselves. For so many years, of course, I knew that I was stressed. Of course, I, tried to live with insomnia. And living with over a decade is a long, big ask, especially for the
Yeah.
type of job that I was doing. And so what happened was after burnout, and up until that point, I was getting medication, I was in therapy, kind of treated for depression and everything, as well as the insomnia. But nothing really worked because none, if it worked, I wouldn't have ended up with, kind of a burnout.
Yeah.
So after my burnout, I said, you know what? I know my body, I know my physiology. I'm just going to go back to my roots and I'm going to take care of myself. And, kind of as someone recommended breath work. And, I was really trying everything under the sun that you can imagine just to see if there's anything that I can do to do, naturally. So I tried the breath work, and as a type A, I wouldn't have tried it 5, 6 years earlier, but I think I was in a desperate situation. I just was looking for something, but I was very, very specific. It wasn't like, oh, what I'm gonna do. I knew that I wanted something that could help me anytime, anywhere, because your panic attacks doesn't listen whether you're in a boardroom with your, kind of a shareholders, or you are
Yeah,
kind of
that's
with your
it.
friends. It happens anywhere.
Anytime,
So
yeah.
you need things that you can use on the go, very discreetly if needed, and very, very fast and effective. So, and when I start to breathe, when I tried conscious breathing, it started to click straight away. Kind of the reason being, I felt the immediate effect of the connection to my body that I never really felt before. It is rather special, isn't it? The first deep breath that you can take, that easy, deep, flowing breath. You just feel your body, it's just,
It's amazing, Malika, because
it
this is what I
is.
ask everyone, and everyone says, yeah, there was just something they connected with.
Yeah,
The
it
first
was,
time.
kind of a, for me, it was that connection, that intense feeling of
Mm.
me as a whole and my body. That really clicked it for me. And, kind of the fact that it was just my breath. I already had it. I just didn't know that my incorrect breathing was causing me additional stress, because I didn't notice that I was a shallow breather or habitual breath holder. I didn't notice the extent of it.
Mm.
And kind of at the second, the more I learned, the more I kind of learned different techniques. I just noticed that it is so powerful. It's kind of it can help me to do a variety of things, kind of calm me down, help me with my sleep. So it is very agile, it's very versatile, the breathing. Only thing
Yeah.
that we need to do is get to know it, become aware of it, and learn the techniques and make it your own and implement it. So that started my breath journey.
So
But
was that from your very first session that you felt that connection that you're like, wow, what is this?
connection was there from the first
Yeah,
session,
incredible.
but it wasn't an easy kind of process. So kind of I took quite a lot of private sessions, kind of I went to trainings. Sometimes it was very difficult, but what I noticed was, after a while, of course, hindsight is easy. um at the start, I was really looking for an answer, and I think I was going a little bit too broke for it. This needs to work for me. And the more I
Right.
demanded an answer, it didn't came. That intuition was there. I noticed. And because also I am a nurse, I work with human physiology. I know the human biology. I can feel that why things are really moving in a certain direction. Though what I was asking was, deal with that decade-long insomnia and everything else, and a terrible burnout. So the more I tried to find an answer in breath work, it didn't came. Apart from the intuition, it was always there. I knew that
Mm.
it was special. But I think after a while, I just let it go. I said, you know what? I'm just gonna try. I'm just gonna enjoy it. And then once I let it go, it started to flow amazingly. And
Wow. So
and
that's what you mean when it was a little bit difficult at first, because you were,
yeah,
I guess, looking for it to solve something, like give me the answer,
exactly,
right?
exactly. Because this is what we do, right? We try to fix things
Yeah.
quickly, immediately, find
Yeah.
solutions. And I think sometimes we just put too much meaning to everything that we do. And this is what I have done always, try to justify, kind of give a reason. And kind of the breath work, just like meditation or mindfulness, is kind of a very intimate relationship with yourself. It is not something that you demand answers. It is something that you just kind of happen to allow and just be. It's like, and
You
when
said
you,
something. Yeah, sorry, carry on, sorry.
and when you get comfortable in yourself, within yourself, with the body and mind that you have, that complete beautiful self, it starts to flow in a total different direction. So this is why when I start to work with my clients, I always say, don't expect anything.
Yeah.
Kind of come, of course, I understand what they need. I understand their background, but, just try, and just rather than even trying, just be, enjoy the
Yeah.
experience and see where it takes you. Because, I struggled for it to take me for somewhere for quite some time. But then the moment that I said, you know what, I'm just going to let it go, it just take me to completely beautiful journey. But oh God, it was,
Do
I
you
think,
remember that moment? Was it quite significant when you made that decision? Did
yeah,
you make a decision? You're like, okay, I'm just going to let go,
yeah,
and it was quite
yeah.
significant. I mean, how was your breathwork sessions after that, or was it in a session? Do you
to,
remember? Was it or like a gradual shift?
to be honest, kind of, no, it was very, very conscious, kind of, because kind of all my life I programmed to make hard decisions, kind of do analytical analysis of everything. So the letting go of control is it's not just actual, it's also a bit symbolic. Because, for example, what is the thing that people struggle the most? People always feel they can't breathe in. But what I find is people actually find it difficult to let go, which is exhalation. Kind of when I decided to let go, saying I'm not going to fight it, because in a session you can just fight, you can just try to make it happen. Something needs to happen, a flashlight, something
Yeah,
needs to, a eureka moment. It doesn't really work like that. So
yeah, exactly.
it is very beautifully unpredictable. And it just, whatever needs to happen really happens, and degree of trust is needed. So when I decide to let go, one, I just stop putting meaning to a session or breathing. Kind of I stop needing it to solve something for me.
Yeah.
I just decide to enjoy the breath, just to come back to the basics of just feeling that flow. That is good enough. Whatever happens or not happens, that is fine too. And also, when I decide to let go, that also helped me with my exhalation. Because one of the things that I was fighting to was to get air into my body. I was literally fighting to inhale more. As you know, if you can't exhale, kind of, there's really not much space to bring the air in.
Right.
So
Yeah.
so letting go helped me in those terms. So kind of
I think that's
letting go of
really
the meaning,
powerful.
and
Yeah.
letting go of the control and exhale. And control is a big thing.
And I love that
Control is
you
massive.
recognize that it took you a while to get there because you were thinking about it, you were trying to, you're like, okay, this is a bit difficult. And as soon as you have it, it does take you on a journey because then you're like, okay, all right, now I'll surrender. I will let go. And what you
Yeah,
said there is beautiful. Like, enjoy the breath.
yeah,
Enjoy the breath. Don't
yeah,
think, right, this is going to serve me. It is going to serve you, but don't think, okay, if I do this, I'm going to get this result. Yeah, you will, but don't think of it like that.
yeah,
Enjoy
yeah,
the breath. I love
yeah.
that you say it like
And
that.
you never know
Beautiful.
what's gonna bring. So kind of
Nothing
there were
really.
so many sessions that I just kind of get up. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is a eureka moment. So many sessions that nothing happened. But what I think that nothing happened, at the end, I breathe. I just connected to my body. Oh, good God, I can't really imagine anything better than being a human being, than just feeling it is not just about here. I can feel the rest of me. I can feel the whole of me. And I
So
am just so
beautiful.
kind because I am letting myself breathe. It is such a simple act, but what we exercise control, the way that we control our lives, the breath is the easiest thing to control, and breath is the first thing that we control. And just letting it go is a big step, but once you take that leap of faith, and I appreciate for so many people it's a leap of faith, it's not easy to say let go. I used to say, whilst I was working in finance, I used to say, I don't know what will happen if I open this Pandora's box, because no
Yeah.
one would live with an insomnia for over a decade. For an insomnia, I don't know if you live with insomnia, a decade is a long time.
Yeah,
So
Melike,
it's so many
honestly.
things that goes wrong, and there's certain things that are really just below the surface, but you're just so scared to open it up because you don't want to be vulnerable, right? Next day you're gonna go to office, you're gonna be that kind of that big person again, have everything figured out, look switched on. So yeah. So
It is like these masks that we wear day to day.
yeah,
And,
yeah,
even in different roles that we play in life, we put on
it is.
different masks. And,
It is.
we're worried about, letting people see what's really happening. Like
Yeah.
you said, that Pandora's box, that vulnerability. It's
Yeah.
like, no, I have to play this role. I have to get through this. That's what's done. I
Yeah.
can't be judged,
Yeah.
so we
Yeah.
all do it.
It is such a
But
beautiful, freeing thing. Just be you,
yeah,
kind of with all my faults. It is really interesting. For several years after my burnout, I never even shared that I had a burnout, or I never really shared the degree of
wow.
my burnout. I think the acceptance of me as a complete me came the more I trained in the breath work, and kind of we start with transformational breath, and I did lots of other trainings and trained in mindfulness. So all of it kind of I'm like, yeah, now I feel me. It's the complete me. I love it. So
Mm.
it's not, I wouldn't say with all its faults. I liken, I say this to my clients as well. It's like I'm a perfect package. There's nothing right or wrong with me, with everything that I have. Several years ago, I would have just say, this is not good, I should have changed, or this is not acceptable. So I say to myself now, it's the perfect package. It's just me. It's everything that made the person that I am today. So yeah, I love
That's
it.
beautiful,
Very
beautiful, so
freeing.
powerful, very freeing. It
It
really
is
is. It's like
freeing.
you've got to be you. I mean, if you're not, who else is
Mm.
going to be you, right?
Yeah,
Own
yeah,
it. So
yeah,
it's
yeah.
beautiful, but it's a journey to get there, and you've been on that journey.
Good.
So
It is. It's been a journey. So many different careers, so many different reasons why I did different things. But I think burnout has been the best thing that ever happened to me. As
mm,
tough as it was, and it was tough. Um, not being able to speak, not being able to move, that paralysis, it really is just so tough. But I think it became a, a trigger for something.
mm,
Kind of for me to say, you know what, I am going to explore something different, non-medical, completely my own. And I decided to take ownership for the first time. Because what
mm,
happens when we have a headache, we just take a pill and hope for the best, kind of we always go for the easiest answer. So almost like a hive of the resolution to something else, a medicine, a therapist or something. So, but with the burnout, I just noticed that I cannot really do that, externalizing what was happening in me. So yeah,
yeah.
burnout, I think the severity of it really took me by surprise. And
Mhm.
it became a catalyst, and kind of yeah,
Like
it's the
to get
best
to that
thing.
point, Maliki, I can only imagine, where you say you were literally paralyzed because
Mm.
got to that point. You're like, okay, now this has to change. Something has to change. This has to stop. So,
Yeah.
when you started the breath work and you said that, okay, I'm going to let go now. I'm going to let go. Tell us what happened when you let go, and like, how did that breathwork journey
Oh
change and grow
God.
from there? Because I
Yeah.
imagine that was a bit of a turning point
I
for
can
you.
I can kind of just the muscle memories coming back. That
Oh,
first deep
wow.
breath is beautiful. You never lose that beautiful memories of how the breath moved in your body. I still have the muscle memory. So after that, my breath work started to move quite a bit, but I must say, I really, really, really practiced on my own. Because
Mm,
you can have sessions with someone every day unless you do it on your own, unless you really gauge it and take what you learn and apply it in your body, almost like
mm,
becoming master of your body. And this is what we need to do. it doesn't really go too fast. It doesn't go too quickly, but I really kind of take take on it. Like I made a project out of it. It really went very, very kind of quickly. So within the 6 months, kind of there were ups and downs, but within the 6 months, the insomnia disappeared. So this is
Wow.
a massive, massive win. As I
After
said,
12 years.
well over a
Wow.
decade. The panic attacks disappeared. Of course, there were times, kind of, it's not like always kind of everything is declining. There were times that, I was struggling, but, I really kept going with my practice. So the panic attacks disappeared. Insomnia was the biggest win, I must say. The sleeping, being able to sleep, being able to kind of feeling good again. And with insomnia and panic attacks wearing off, the brain fog start to change. And actually, the real change in my cognitive abilities came when I started to really train in mindfulness and meditation. That was the real turning point. But in terms of kind of a panic attacks, the chest pains, muscle pains, insomnia, within 6 months, all of them really, and I just kind of hyped myself off from the
Wow.
medication, which was really great. But
Amazing.
I really say to people, medication is not really a big deal, and not everyone needs to leave it. Not everyone. It is not. It is not almost like a. Some people use it as a badge of honor. It doesn't need to be. If you feel like you need a medication, just take it. It's like whether I need something or not. Kind of. And I really say to people, don't feel obliged to just feel, oh, I shouldn't really take a pill. It is less of me or something like that. No, I made a choice that to leave it, and I was able to leave it, so that's fine.
I
And
love
then,
that. Thank you for saying that, Malika,
yeah,
because it's important to acknowledge that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And, it's like a wearing glasses, kind of, I noticed recently that my eyesight is not getting any better. So I just start to wear my glasses again. So it's just help that you need, and acknowledge it. And if I need to take pills again, yeah, I will happily take them again. So it's not really big deal. It is always being kind to yourself and a little bit of honesty. What is it that I need? It is not about bravery. It is not about proving to everyone that you conquered everything. Everything is beautiful. This is life. There are
Show
ups
me
and
that
downs.
person, Malika. Show me that person, because do they even exist? Because,
Yeah, and kind of I don't like even perfection. It's like a false hope, and it never really fulfills itself, and you kind of put yourself down to rabbit hole. So yeah, the first 6 months it was amazing. It was a real journey. And then yeah, after that I started to practice meditation and mindfulness, and I decided to also train in both. And kind of like combining both really helped me with everything. Kind of, it's like a global picture of change, not only noticing and conquering my nervous system, but also discovering my mind. Because as kind of it was when I get into mindfulness and meditation that I start to understand my mind. What was that
Amazing.
recurring thoughts and emotional
Mm.
habitual patterns that was driving me, why certain things are triggering me, and kind of noticing that, being aware of it, but also feeling good about it. Sort of to know that I don't need to criticize myself. There's nothing wrong with me, but I have a choice. It is my choice whether to notice that I am being triggered, yet follow it, or just say, you know what? No, I'm going to go at a different path. So that empowered me. So breathwork gave me that power of the calm, the collection, that groundedness. And the mindfulness meditation gave me that overview and understanding and intimate knowledge of my mind. And combination was
Mm.
really powerful. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can really feel that from you, and the passion, and like that's such an incredible story and an incredible journey to like go
Yeah.
from where you were to burnout, to go on that journey. And like you said, trust, surrender. You have to let go because you're like still wanting answers, and then you let go, and then this happens, and then
Yeah.
6 months later, you're healing your insomnia and the panic
Yeah.
attack. That's
Yeah.
incredible. And then, like you said, you're able to then explore more, right? Tell
Yeah,
me more. So it's
yeah.
incredible.
And there are still so many things to learn. So, kind of
Yeah.
if I have time, I have health problems on and off for different reasons. So kind of, but if I have time, I will just really explore more. But one thing that I just want to kind of, I think, want to share with people that when we bottle things up, it's almost like we make things much bigger than they need to be. It's like when we
Mm.
try to suppress and repress things. This is why we think Pandora's box. What if it opens and I can't put it back into box? When we try to put things places that we don't want to see, actually, we make things much bigger than they need to be. It is easier for all of us to really be calmly know and become aware of what is going on. What is it that upsetting me? What is the situation? What are kind of responses that I am giving? And dealing with it, making a conscious choice about responding or not responding or whichever way you want to go is the easiest thing to do, rather than saying, you know what, I can't deal with it, I'm going to put it behind somewhere in my mind, and I'm just going to deal
Yeah,
with it
lock it
later.
away. Yeah.
But actually it really makes the problems look much bigger. Then we just say, oh God, I really don't know how I'm going to deal with it. And kind of once we just feel comfortable in our body that actually there's really nothing that we can't overcome. I came back from paralysis, so you can always come back, and your body and mind can really handle a lot. Whatever you do, take comfort from the fact that you are exploring something new. Even listening to this chat, listening to this is a kind of almost an invitation that you're giving yourself to open up to a new idea. Perhaps that's something that you couldn't have done a year ago, but here you are listening to it. So there's a change and there's a degree of trust. So I'll just say, go with it. Trust yourself. Your
Trust and
body and
go
your
with it.
mind is so powerful, isn't it? I am in awe of
Yeah.
myself as a human being.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
I love that. And I love the way you're emphasizing that because it's true and it's so important. And, we often find we disconnect from ourselves and it's, that fear that we get absorbed in, and
Yeah,
that's where we lose that sense of trust and self. And it's
yeah,
these techniques like breath work and mindfulness
yeah,
meditation, it's all about coming back to self and
yeah.
that
That's it.
understanding what it is. Like you talk about these triggers and whatever, it's look at that, understand what it is, allow yourself to see it and accept it as part of you and work through it. So
Yeah, yeah.
we don't have to push it all away, we don't have to be afraid of these things, but it can be hard because we're not used to it, right?
It
We
is.
haven't done this before. It's
But
new territory, like you said. We're like,
yeah,
oh, what do I do with these emotions? It's like,
but the good thing is now people are talking about it. So,
yeah,
kind of now people are talking about burnout, people are talking about what is really kind of what is this mindfulness and meditation and the breath work. So, there are resources out there. There are so many people, kind of like us out there. So, and whatever you're
yeah,
going through, you're not alone, seriously. So,
yeah. You're not
you're
alone.
right. A degree of preparedness, the degree of being ready, the degree of faith, trust, and letting go. Yeah. So this is why
Yeah,
I always say something brings people to the work that we do. It tends to be the life of circumstance. People need something, but sometimes some people come to me, they don't need anything particularly, but they just feel something is resonating. They may not really understand what is really happening, but they resonate with it and they just want to explore it. How beautiful. So wonderful.
and go with that, like you said.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Was there a point during your journey that you can remember you specifically were like, right, I want to train in this, right? I need to
uh,
share this with other people. What
I
was
would
there a specific point that you
Yeah,
realized?
yeah. It was at the end of the 6 months when I decided to, when I was just kind of set with myself and I said, you know what, I am good to quit my medication and everything. I think up until then I was like, is it gonna work out? You always kind of there's up and downs because sometimes the insomnia kicks back again. You have week of not sleeping, and then kind of course your determination faints. But kind of I always practice. I kept practicing. That's something that I never really wavered. At the end of 6 months, I knew that this was something that I needed to train. Actually, it's really interesting. The decision came to me in a breathing session. I was on a
Really?
training. I think it was in a breathing session, and I get up, and I get up with an image of my office in one of my past corporate lives, and I saw myself kind of a teaching breathwork in there, and kind of I decided to actually, my initial intention was to take the breathwork directly to corporates,
Yeah.
to share my story, to say, what, these are the things that we can do. But actually, it is not just the corporate domain, the busy mums, kind of the teenagers. I see children now, perhaps even more agitated and anxious than their parents. So, kind of initially, my decision was kind of take this to corporate domain to save people like myself. Because but then I just realized, actually, it is universal. It is universal. Even the small children need help.
Yeah.
And actually, earlier is the better. So, but at the end of 6 months, the idea came to me from a breathing session. But I think seeing the results gave me that encouragement that, it's not just me, it's something that I can take to other people, because it's
Mm.
so profound. I always go back to decade-long medication not working. 6 months is profound. It is astounding. It is crazy. So
Absolutely.
that is, and this is coming from a medical professional. Yeah. So yeah, it was
No,
amazing.
it's so powerful. But you said as well, though, you were practicing every day. You were committed to your breath. You were
Yeah.
like, okay,
Yeah.
I can feel the benefits. So that's incredible I love that it came to you in a breathing session to
Yeah,
share
it did.
this.
It did. It did. I
It's
had an
so
image of,
beautiful.
I'm not going to give the name of a company, but it was a company. I saw myself in the office, and I just thought, yeah, this is exactly what I needed to do. But as I start to work with people, I just noticed that actually it is universal. It is not about a problem solving. It is not about trying to help people dealing with burnout. It is teaching us humans how to be more in touch with themselves. It doesn't need
Mm.
to be fixing something, it doesn't need to be solving a problem or anxiety or whatever. It is much more about, how do I become more content, more grounded, more in touch and connected human being every day. Because
Yeah.
if I am all this, actually, trust me, your anxieties are not going to go that high. Your stress levels, you can manage that. So it's like almost giving ourselves a toolkit to become a whole, complete, beautiful, coherent human being. Not that there's anything wrong with us. It's just we don't know the tools. We just, no one taught us, kind of
Yeah. Yeah,
until,
absolutely.
yeah.
And that's what you're doing now. So tell us
Yeah.
like what you're doing now, like who you're working with, how you work with people, what you're
Yeah.
offering, where you're based. Tell us a bit about that if there's
Yeah.
anyone that would like to reach out to
So
you.
I'm in Southwest London, so Twickenham. So I work with individuals and corporates, and also some institutions. So it really is very, very varied. I do work with people, on individuals and corporates, on several different ways. So I always offer one-to-one breathing sessions. I offer mindfulness courses, and also I created a first mindfulness for stress and breathwork course. As far
Oh,
as I
you
know,
see
as far
that?
as I
Yeah.
know, I'm the only one who trained in both, and then
Yeah.
offering a course. So it's a course that I wrote on my own, brand new. So I start to give this year. So
Brilliant.
it is very amazing, and the way that I work with individuals, it really is different. With individuals, it tends to be, people come to me for a variety of reasons, whether stress, anxiety, something is missing in their lives, or they just want to learn techniques like breathwork and mindfulness. But I, because I trained in a variety of breathing techniques, I can really just say, okay, what do you need? And then there's no custom way that there's no one way that I work with an individual. So what I share with them in each session, it is different. So my work is very, very bespoke.
Yeah, depending on
So
what
it
the
just
client
start,
needs.
yeah, it
Yeah.
starts from what they need, and kind of if they need transformational breath, I give them that. If it's something else, I give another kind of a type of practices, but it's very, very bespoke. With corporates, it tends to be around anxiety, stress, but also kind of because I kind of created this mindfulness, and I use mindfulness as a attention training and performance improvement tool in
Yeah,
corporates. So it's
that's
really
amazing.
because mindfulness at the kind of if you strip it to the nuts and bolts, it is the best attention training technique out there. And attention is all there is. What is awareness? Awareness is bringing your attention to whatever that you want to be aware, if it is your
Mm.
body, if it is your breath. But unfortunately, we are like a goldfish. Our attention span is not more than 4 6 seconds.
Unfortunately, yeah, so
So
crazy.
knowing how to train it is really, really important, especially in the corporate. And kind of I work with people kind of in demanding positions who
Mm.
they need to have their cognitive abilities at their best. So kind of my work with corporates is not only just stress reduction, kind of burnout, kind of prevention, but also how do you secure performance improvement? How do you use mindfulness and breath work to help your teams to be more calmer, more grounded, more switched on, and kind of focused? Focus is the key,
Brilliant.
because focus bring you efficiency, productivity. That is the key. Because we all
Amazing.
are individuals, very, kind of a high performing individuals. We have
Mhm.
very good, strong cognitive ability. But what we are missing is the attention that can guide,
Mm.
sustain that cognitive ability and attention and focus long enough to do the work justice. So this is what we are missing.
Yeah. Wow, that's wonderful. So you're covering a lot of bases there, Maliki.
I
That's
do,
amazing.
I
And
do,
and
I do.
how do people reach you? Is it via your website, via your Instagram handle? What's the best way for people to reach you?
Kind of in my breath, all of them. So my breath
Yeah,
website is breathzone.com, and my Instagram is breathzone London, and you can reach me from anywhere. So you can just kind of search Melike Hussein, breath coach or mindfulness teacher. You can just find me in anywhere that you would like.
I
But
love it.
kind of
Well,
if
I'll
you go,
tag your details. Sorry.
yeah. So if you go to my website, there are lots of kind of resources there. If you go to my Instagram, there are like breathing sessions, the meditation tips. So there are lots of free resources out there that you can just check from my kind of Instagram and company website.
Love it. Thank you so much. And
Thank
so I
you.
would highly recommend if anyone is interested, please reach out to Malika. She's wonderful. So
Thank you. Thank you
if
very
you've got any
much.
questions, if anything that's been shared today resonates with anyone,
Yeah,
please let us know. Share in the comments below. Reach out to us directly. We'd be happy to speak to you, to answer any
exactly.
questions. Burnout's a real thing. It's absolutely it's more common than we'd like it to be right now.
It
So we
is.
just,
It is. It
yeah,
is.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
kind of.
reach out if anything resonates. We've
Always.
got Shimmer Spiral saying she's sending love from England. I'm grounding in a park.
Oh,
Beautiful.
lovely.
With beautiful sunshine as well today in the park. So thank
It's
you for
too
joining
hot
us.
though. I was under the sun for 10 minutes. I'm like, oh my goodness, my brain was kind of what was 32 degrees kind of yeah, I had to escape, get into a shade. So,
I had to drive back home today from somewhere and it was like an hour, 15 minutes in my car and my AC is not working. So I was like,
oh my goodness.
oh my, I had a different experience this afternoon. So I'm going to get outside and get some fresh air and do some grounding like Shimmer Spiral as well. So, but I'm so happy you joined us
Wow.
today, Melissa.
Thank you.
Is there anything else that you would like to share? Say if there's someone watching who has not tried breathwork
Mm,
before, but is curious, is thinking about it, is there anything you would like to share or to say, or anything that
yeah,
we haven't covered at all?
yeah. To be honest, kind of, I think for anyone who hasn't really, I'm journaling. I love journaling. It's one of my favorite things to do.
Yeah.
Um, Regarding breath work, I think wherever you are in your life, you may be insanely unhappy, you may have challenges, always kind of think of breath work as a tool that you can have, tool that you
Mm.
can learn to really connect to the body and mind. So finding we always say, oh, I'm that person, but connecting to this, making sure that this is connected to the rest of you is really hard. And kind of a breath work is a fantastic tool. You may be insanely happy, you may say, I have everything in my that I can ask for. But I would say, if there's one technique, and I tried everything that you can think of, that I would recommend, I really recommend breath work. And there are so many easier techniques that you can do just to have that relaxed connection. God, even just saying that, my body gets into that
I
relaxation
know.
mode.
I feel it from you.
So I would say make an investment in yourself, and kind of try it. I lack of consistency and a thing what is blocking me. Oh God, yeah, consistency is the thing. Can I say something about that? What might be blocking us?
Yeah, please do. Please do.
So kind of for me, consistency was an issue. But in the first 6 months of the time that I started my breathwork and mindfulness meditation, I really made it a conscious effort. There were days that I really said, no, I may not like it, but I am gonna do it. Because I just noticed that that gut feel never left me. I just knew that breathwork was so powerful. I just needed to invest, and I needed to give it enough time for it to sink in, for it to connect. So many things are blocking us. Failure, is it gonna work? Or the past failures, or I gave up 10 different things, it's not gonna be any different. Kind of past experiences, the judgments, maybe the fear of failing, the fear of things not working. So many things can block us. But what I would say is, really, if you have something that you feel like you want to do, that whether it's journaling, breathing, or meditation, know that your mind will try to take you, talk you out of it. You don't need it. Today is a good day. I think you're healed. Everything is good again. I would just say, until it becomes a habit, make a conscious effort to do it. And it takes some time for making something habit. Kind of don't give up. Don't kind of blame yourself. Oh, I am gonna fail in one thing one more time again. We are only human. The fact that you're trying is the best thing that you can do. And also be kind to yourself. Once I said I made myself consciously practice it, there were days that I just literally couldn't. And on those days I said, okay, you know what, I'm gonna let it be today, but next day I really make sure that I tried, at least tried. And I think this is one of the reasons that it worked for me, because initially my teacher said try 10, practice 10 minutes. It could never work with me. Well, what I did, I knew that I could have done a minute or two. This is what I started. So always make it your own. If 10 minutes is too long, just do 1 minute. 30 seconds is better than doing nothing. But show yourself that you're giving yourself that commitment, that permission to be. You are trying, you're human. That is it. Rest will come, I promise you. Be happy, be kind to yourself. We are only human. We are only trying. So that's the only thing that we can do.
Beautiful, Melike. That's exactly it. Be kind, be gentle with yourself, and just keep going. Like you said, keep going. If you don't do it one day, it's okay. Start again the next day. 100%. So love that. You're getting
Can
lots
I
of
give
love
one
hearts
more
and thank
tip?
you. Yeah, please
Actually,
do. Love
on
this.
some days, kind of some days I feel really, really ill. I really feel ill. I can't really get out of the bed. And I just, on those days, I know that I can't practice, and I give myself a hug. Give yourself a hug, touching yourself, touching your skin, just like you're touching your child, your pet, or a friend. It is very comforting. So sometimes we just need to show that we are really giving ourselves genuine love and comfort and affection. Just appreciating that I am human. This is what it is today. And I'm just giving myself that care that I need. Sometimes it really is all it takes. But kind of your body and mind takes care of it, and kind of the next day you're in a better place and you can practice again. It's
That's
wonderful.
beautiful. That's beautiful. I love that. Like really increasing that self-love, that
Yeah,
self-care.
yeah.
Thank you so much, Melike. That's beautiful.
Ah,
So I am so, so grateful to you for giving us your time and
oh,
sharing your incredible story. I just think,
oh, thank
you know,
you.
it's where you started to where you've been through and are now. It's incredible. So
Yeah.
I love that. And if, like I said before, if anyone wants to reach out, please do. Let us know in
Oh,
the
thank
comments if
you.
anything resonated. I'll put your Instagram handle, I'll tag you in that
Thank you.
below so people can reach out to you directly.
Thank you.
And I hope I get to
And
see you soon because we're
oh,
not that
we
far away.
will, we will. And thank you very much for sharing because I think sometimes we think we are alone. We are the only ones that are suffering from this. It is us failing. Everyone else is doing great. I think hearing someone else's story is great to say, I am not alone. This is happening. There are so many different ways that people are experiencing something. So we are never alone. So yeah. And
Never
reach out,
alone.
guys. If you have a question, please do. I am always here, and it really is my mission to help people. Oh,
Love
thank
it.
you.
There you go. Thank you so much, Maliki. Followed you
Thank
also,
you.
Malika. I will check out your work. Thank you both,
Thank
ladies. Thank you,
you.
Jennifer Farrell, for joining us live and
Thank
everyone
you.
else. I'll be posting this and sending you all lots of love. And Malika, big love to you. Enjoy
Thank
the rest of
you.
your Sunday afternoon
Thank you,
slash
my
evening.
lovely.
And I will see you very, very soon. Wow,
Thank you
thank
very much
you.
for having me. Have a lovely Sunday. Take care, lovely.
Take
Bye,
care.
guys.
Bye.